Hello everyone, and welcome back to our journey through Genesis. Today we're diving into chapter 18, a chapter packed with hospitality, incredible promises, and a powerful conversation between God and Abraham. So let's set the scene. It's the heat of the day in the plains of Mamre. Abraham is sitting at the entrance of his tent, probably just trying to stay cool. Suddenly he looks up and sees three men standing nearby. Now, what does Abraham do? He doesn't wait for them to approach. He doesn't eye them with suspicion. He runs from his tent to meet them and bows low to the ground. This is a beautiful picture of ancient hospitality. Abraham immediately says, "My Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat, so you can be refreshed and then go on your way, now that you have come to your servant." Notice his humility and eagerness to serve. He calls himself their servant and urges them to stay. The visitors accept his offer, saying, "Do as you have said." And Abraham doesn't just offer leftovers. He rushes into the tent to Sarah and says, "Quick, get 3 seahs of the finest flour and knead it and bake some bread." 3 seahs is a lot of flour. We're talking about enough to feed a crowd. He doesn't stop there. He then runs to the herd and selects a choice, tender calf, giving it to a servant to prepare quickly. He also brings some curds and milk. Abraham puts on a full feast for these strangers. And while they ate, he stood near them under the tree, attending to their needs. This wasn't just giving them food. It was an act of personal service and respect. Now things take a fascinating turn. One of the men asks, "Where is your wife Sarah?" Abraham replies, "She is in the tent." Then the man, who we now understand is the Lord himself, makes an astonishing promise. "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Sarah is inside the tent, and she overhears this. And what's her reaction? She laughs to herself. And honestly, can you blame her? She thinks, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" From a human perspective, it seemed impossible. The Bible tells us that both Abraham and Sarah were very old, and Sarah was well past the age of childbearing. Her laughter isn't necessarily one of pure joy and belief. It's a laugh of incredulity, of, "You've got to be kidding me." But the Lord knows her heart and even her silent thoughts. He asks Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I really have a child now that I am old?'" And then he asks one of the most powerful questions in the entire Bible. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Let that sink in for a moment. Is anything too hard for the Lord? This question echoes through the ages. It challenges our doubts, our fears, and our limited understanding of what is possible. The Lord reaffirms his promise. "I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah, caught and afraid, denies it. She says, "I did not laugh." But the Lord gently corrects her, saying, "Yes, you did laugh." He's not shaming her, but he is holding her accountable to the truth and inviting her to move from doubt to faith. After this incredible encounter, the men get up to leave, and they look toward Sodom. Abraham walks along with them to see them on their way. And here, we get a unique glimpse into the heart of God. The Lord says to himself, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do?" He decides not to. Why? Because God has chosen Abraham to become a great and powerful nation, and through him, all the nations on earth will be blessed. God has a covenant relationship with him. He says, "For I have chosen him, so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord, by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him." God is bringing Abraham into his confidence, treating him not just as a servant, but as a friend. So the Lord reveals his plan. He says, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grievous that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." The 2 other men, who are angels, head toward Sodom, but Abraham remains standing before the Lord. What follows is one of the most remarkable conversations ever recorded. Abraham approaches God and begins to intercede, to plead on behalf of the cities. He asks, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? He continues, "Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do right?" Abraham is appealing to God's own character, his justice and his righteousness. And how does God respond? Not with anger at being questioned, but with grace. The Lord says, "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." But Abraham isn't done. He humbly pushes further. He says, "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing, but dust and ashes, what if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Will you destroy the entire city for lack of 5 people?" And God agrees. "If I find 45 there, I will not destroy it." Abraham continues this negotiation, this heartfelt plea. He bargains God down from 50 to 45 to 40, then to 30, then to 20. Each time he approaches with humility, acknowledging his place before the Almighty, but also with a bold confidence in God's mercy. Each time, God patiently agrees. Finally, Abraham makes his last appeal. "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there?" And the Lord replies, "For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it." 10 people, out of 2 entire cities. Abraham's intercession highlights the incredible value God places on even a small number of righteous people. It shows the power of prayer and the heart of a person who cares for the fate of others, even those who are sinful. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home. This chapter leaves us with so much to think about. We see the importance of hospitality, the power of God to do the impossible, and the incredible privilege of being in a relationship with God, where we can approach Him, talk with Him, and even wrestle with Him on behalf of others. Abraham's example challenges us to have a faith that acts, a faith that believes in miracles, and a heart that prays for the world around us. What an amazing chapter. I hope this has given you some new insights and encouragement today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next chapter. See you next time.